Welcome back to the Shimi podcast. We're in season 2, right?
No.
We're still in season 1?
Yeah, I'm still in season 1.
Oh, great. So welcome back to still in season 1 of the Shimi podcast. And as usual, we like to see people here. So we've got some very interesting people here. To my right, we have Shem, who's also Shimi. That's
Yeah,
Shimi.
I am.
Who's also Shimi. And we have Luyando. Or you guys look
AKA
great.
Lulu.
AKA Lulu, AKA Tuba. Just these good looking people. You guys are good looking. They really came today like come in and I feel like I should have been dressed up actually. Thank God we don't film feet.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start with Shem. Shem is gonna say a few things about himself. No pressure. So yeah, go ahead, man.
Well, hi, my name is Shem. And I'm glad to be on the podcast.
Yeah, so Shem is a very modest person. Not much to say. Leanne, come on, you have to come on.
I have to beat that.
You have to beat that.
Hi, I am Luyando, aka Lulu. What do? I'm a student. I won't say which school though, but I'm a student. Yeah, and I'm studying architecture. So, yeah.
All the people out there can discern from this information.
I know, right?
People generally
Hint.
people generally know where this podcast is filmed from, and there's like 2 places in Zambia offering architecture. I don't think there's another school offering architecture in Zambia.
No.
Is it?
The
only
architecture-
2.
No, there's not 2.
Which
There's
other
like-
one?
No, there's about 4.
Really?
Yeah. So you have about, if I'm not mistaken, you have about 3 in Lusaka
And one on the Copper
and
Belt.
1 on the Copper Belt. Actually, there's 2 on the Copper Belt, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Again, there's that one, that the college that offers a joint program with, I think there's a Korean partnership, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if they're still doing it anyway, but a few years ago I heard about that.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
the more you know.
Yeah.
the more you know.
The more we know.
Yeah, so like, how's it hanging? How are you guys? Post holiday.
Yo.
Those post holiday, those January
Resolutions.
blues. Those resolutions, man. Leandro, have you made any resolutions? Nothing.
No.
Are you into this? You just didn't. Are you just
The thing
into
is
it?
that I feel like every time I make plans, God
Yeah.
says, He laughs at me hard. So this time I just said, you know what? Let's just go with whatever 2024 has for us.
What about you, Shem?
No,
Any resolutions?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, resolutions, guy.
Well, I'm not going to share them because they still
Are there some that you can? Okay, can you maybe do you have like a theme?
Oh yeah, I can share like one. So
Yeah.
well, I'm still structuring a few of them because
Okay.
my plan is kind of to get them all structured by the 3rd week of January.
Wow.
But the one
You tell me.
It's a deadlines man. This is a man of deadlines.
so the one I'll talk about though is timekeeping. I do not want to be associated with Zambian time
Yeah.
this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
You want
so-
to get there early.
Yeah,
Even if you find them sweeping, you're alright.
I'm
It's
good.
okay.
You're alright.
good.
Just like pass me a broom.
Yeah.
You said come at 17. I'm
I'll be
here.
there at 17.
Let's do this.
I'm going to give a background story to that.
Let's
and
go.
What led me to that?
All right.
So I'm not going to mention details because I don't want to look like I'm defaming the organization. So,
All right.
so a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
friends and I went for a marathon. I won't mention where.
Yes. Oh my
And
God.
it was so surprising how poor it was planned. Like, the marathon should have started at 5 a.m. in the morning, was for the 42K runners. We got there panicking. I wasn't initially going to run, but then I changed my mind. So we got there at 4:47. We called the organizing team to say, is the race about to start? Because we're panicking. We're along the road heading there, and it's raining, and we're just like, we're late. I think, are you doing the countdown?
Mm-hmm.
And the person was asleep.
You called me and he's like,
Yeah,
what?
literally. I kid you not. The person was asleep and we were in shock. It was literally a few minutes to the race starting, and this person was asleep. And this was a Zambian, by the way, who was organizing.
I mean,
So-
it's called Zambian time
For a reason.
So this race was about 3 hours delayed. Yes, almost 3 hours delayed. And people came from Lusaka,
Lusaka,
Solwezi, all over the country. You know,
Yeah.
there were people from Chingola, there were people from Kawe. And it was just so surprising. Like I've done like 3 marathons so far, and that one was the worst. You know. So it made me realize to say, oops, in as much as I'm Zambian, I do not want to associate with this Zambian time thing
Okay.
this year.
So timekeeping. You want to be punctual. You want to be there. It's all right. You have to wait. Doesn't matter. It's like I'm here on time. That's great. Marathon fever though. 3 marathons. Was it just in 2022 or like was it in your life?
So far it's in my life.
Okay.
I think I've kind of like haven't been jogging so much over the past 7 months. I do jog
Here and
every
there.
other day here and there with the guys,
Yeah.
but I really haven't been jogging so much since August last year. You know, took a break
I
for like
see.
5 months, went to Lusaka,
Just short break.
like blew up.
Literally.
Literally, like just puffed up with food. But then yeah, so last year we did like 3 marathons. Before we'd run just for fun, you know, keeping fit. I think COVID was what initially led to that. You know, trying to prevent the respiratory issues and just trying to keep fit.
Okay.
Yeah, so we started with the friends jogging here and there, and then one of them suggested, say, we should try out a few marathons. So we did like, I did 3, the guys went for more.
All out.
Yeah, they went all out.
Yeah, it's marathon fever in Zambia actually.
Yeah.
People are traveling, like you said, from all over the country. Just like I've come to your city to just run 42 kilometers, then I'm out.
Which is something Zambia was not known for a long
That's
time,
not.
you know?
Yeah.
Now it's impressive that people are getting into the fitness.
Zambia has this thing, especially when it's like it's attached to like churches and everything. So there's a whole health kick going on in Zambia. I think it's great. People are always trying to get healthier, trying to do more, trying to eat better, which is it's great.
It's amazing. It's great actually.
I think it's great. It's good. I squeeze the mic.
Yeah.
I'm squeezing the mic.
Okay.
In the middle of a technical difficulty. Should I use both hands?
Do that.
The bottom.
What?
Squeeze it out. Here, the bottom.
Say, like you know, making it any better.
Just that. That's right. Leg of the shaft. All right. Yes.
You want to squeeze the mic? That was it. Ah, great.
All right. Where can we start from?
The mic has been pleased.
Okay, you know how you're gonna do it. So I was talking about health.
Yeah,
and
fitness.
whatnot.
We're laughing about the fitness thing, like, and we're happy about how they came. Like, the fitness thing is now Zambia.
Oh
Woo!
yeah, the fitness
Yeah.
thing is because you know everyone's dad is like diabetic and everyone's mom has like hypertension. Shame, but like you know, it's great that
We're not supposed to be laughing at that.
Huh?
I'm not laughing.
You know, like his face was like,
I mean, and you must acknowledge what's happening.
yes.
And that's the truth
the
of the
truth,
matter.
yes.
So people should eat healthier and all of those things. And yeah, it's great. I'm trying to eat healthier. I
I'm
feel
not even
like
trying.
I'm trying. I try to. I think my issue. I don't think that I eat. I don't think that I eat bad food. I just eat poorly. I just eat. She was like, me, sorry, it's not me, not gonna lie on this podcast. Not gonna lie on this podcast. Like before you ask me, Before you ask me what I'm doing about my health, I'm just going to let you know that it's nothing. I'm
Don't
doing
even look at
nothing.
me.
Wow.
Yeah, at least you know Shem is trying to run and
Yeah,
jog.
I'm trying.
I'm
I'm trying to actually lose the gains because
Yeah.
I felt like like I said, I blew up
Yeah.
over like 3 months of
The
being.
holidays, did you?
Yeah, the holidays really, they were really the holidays. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
Like, it
yeah.
was
It was
really.
really Thanksgiving.
You know when you come back from the holidays and you gain a bit of weight, it was pure bliss. You are just happy. You are sitting with the family. You
Yes,
eat
this
some-
is just sleeping and eating.
Yeah.
There's nothing you're doing.
you know that time when the house is full, everybody's around, you eat supper, but you're still awake and you're chatting. Someone's like, "Can you want some popcorn?" And you're like, yeah, sure. That time pass like, "There's some crisps in the back." Yeah. You
Ice
know,
cream. Some uncles brought alcohol.
Yeah. Just like mom bought potatoes. Let's just have some chips. Yeah, it's like until you're sleeping and just like just stuffed, and it's great. It's great for the soul. I think it's alright to eat
Yeah.
a lot.
And then-
The food is great.
Well, like people always say, when it's not your budget and it's not in your house,
Oh,
Yeah.
go for it, man.
go for it.
Yeah, when you live in your own house, when you go and you
When you
got
get back to your house, then you're like, okay,
and
now
when
I'm back.
you
to
got some
reality.
dependents, it's just like, oh, what's for supper? It's like, I bought bread. Can we? It's just tea for supper, guys. This don't do too much.
Buns.
Yeah, I'm telling my young brothers, just like, no, we've just been having bread every night for the past 3 days. I was like, let's go for 5 days. Let's keep, just
Let's
don't.
continue.
Yeah, this make a record.
Let's set the record.
Let's call
yeah.
Guinness and be like, how long can someone eat bread for supper for? How long can you
When
do
you say
that?
Guinness, it reminds me of the woman that was singing for how many hours?
There's a lady that sang.
Yes, I think she's from Ghana. She was trying to beat the world record of singing for, I don't know if it's 10 hours or
Oh
whatever.
my goodness.
Then like her voice started to crack. Like it's a whole TikTok thing, and
Guinness
I just
really-
can't.
Guinness is out of records, huh?
Plenty.
It's like, who can sing for the longest? Like, yeah, man, we need to keep this going.
Who can
yeah.
talk for the longest? Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, anyway, since we're in the new year, so new year, new news, new scandals. You know, from everywhere. It's like the year just started, and there've been so many, especially like celebrity scandals. I think from like last year, though I think from 2022, people there've been these
2023.
like little exposés on like social media. These and it's usually like not too famous celebrities coming out and being like, guys, some weird stuff is happening. Weird things are happening here. I'm going to talk about it. Believe me, don't believe me. You
Yeah.
know. So we have like Cat Williams just
oh my god, the
coming
3-hour
coming
interview.
out with that interview, and it's just like, because you hear it, and then because he started, and I thought he was a bit lucid because he was drinking, but
Yes.
he was just like, no, he just spoke so well, and he was very articulate, and I was like,
I was impressed.
he's just, like, is everything here? Like, there's some things I was like,
Yes.
but then there were some things I was like, that's
kinda true.
I mean, could that be a lie? could he just be making this up? I don't know. So
And
yeah,
he really went guns blazing.
he came in guns blazing. He was just like,
No one will survive this.
no one
was
was
No
surviving
short
this.
after
stones
short.
Yeah, and
to
people have been doing their research, and people are coming up with more information, and they're like, yeah, but this kind of did happen here and there, and because the whole like
Benny
yeah,
Mac
and he
thing.
he wasn't shy about saying that it's satanic. He wasn't shy. He wasn't like, hey, these people, they are agents of the devil, and they are gonna bring you in, and they're going to give you this, and you're gonna
They'll
have
tell
to
you to
do
wear a
that.
dress. That's
wear a
the
dress, wear a dress, do this and that. I could say more, but
allegations.
allegations.
Allegedly.
And then for us here in the motherland, for us in
One
the motherland,
Africa.
the one that's really popping off, as everyone knows, is that for TB Joshua, man. And so I think everyone's heard about it. I don't think there's someone who hasn't heard about the 3-part BBC expose that it's on everyone's mind right
Socials.
now. Everyone's socials, everyone has an opinion about it.
Yeah.
We're talking about it today because it's spicy as hell.
I mean,
Yeah. So let's get into it. Let's talk, so TB Joshua, who is TB Joshua, Shem? And how do you know him? How did you come across him?
Okay.
Tell me.
Excuse me. So of course, I think like many other Zambians, or should I say Africans,
Yeah.
can't speak for everybody else, but I can't say I grew up watching TB Joshua, but I did watch him quite a lot back
In the day.
back in the days in Dad and Mom's house, growing up,
Yeah.
high school kind of, yeah. So I mean, I grew up in a very Christian family, by the way, so it wasn't weird to watch people falling and puking and everything
being exercised.
except the
Everything.
kumbayas. Like it was everything, and it was just amazing to see. Like, wow, so like there's actually a human being that's doing these things, and it was nice. I loved the fact that he was a very humble human being. Yeah, well, he's dead, so he was.
I mean, he is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is dead. He is. He is.
No, because when I said it, I thought should it be is or was? Then I thought, oh, but he's dead. So
He is dead.
he
is
was.
dead.
Yeah, he was very humble. I love the fact that he kind of bridged the gap between various religious groups. In Nigeria, he'd be giving to Muslims, he'd be giving to Christians, he'd be giving to atheists, and literally anybody that he could help. Old people in the community, young people, disabled, like everybody. So that's what I know about TB Joshua from what I saw about him on his channel, of course. I never went there. I never knew him personally. I never had his number.
Never bought that anointing oil.
No,
Never
no.
ordered that anointing oil.
Was it for sale though?
I think you
Yes,
could
it
get some. You
was.
could get
Are
some.
you sure?
Yeah, yeah. It was
It
for
was
much
for
was
sale.
So you pay for shipping.
You paid for shipping,
But it's free.
but it was free.
It's free.
You paid for. I don't
But
remember,
I mean,
but I
why
remember
should
you,
they
you
ship
could
it for
order
you
some.
though?
Free.
No, come on. Why should they
Free.
ship it for you though? You're the one that wants it.
No, you pay for shipping. You pay them for shipping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
it was
so-
you pay. I can't remember, but I remember. I don't know if it was for sale, but I remember you could order a TB Joshua anointing oil.
And water.
Really?
Holy water.
Yeah, and
I
holy
thought
water.
I thought it was just on request, so that's news to me. Anyway.
Yeah, you could ask to get some. I have no evidence to prove that that's what used to happen, but I remember something
Allegedly.
like that. Allegedly.
Thank you.
You could buy some, get water as well. I've always wondered or was it like just normal cooking oil? Was it like avocado?
Okay,
Is it
even if
like
they say that it's
coconut?
olive oil, but like
They
is
said it was
it-
olive oil. Olive oil is
Like, I feel
expensive.
like
Can't
naturally
can't give out olive oil for free.
That's why you're shipping though.
Has to be
So you're
salad.
paying for shipping.
Yeah. Hey.
You are paying for shipping.
So you're paying for
But-
shipping, huh? Olive oil is expensive, you guys.
it's very
Anyway, so Leandro, I'm assuming you got a pretty similar experience, but let's hear it from you.
not really. I don't think I had a similar experience.
Okay.
Well, I grew up in a household where definitely were Christians,
Mm-hmm.
but my mother was not the charismatic Christian,
Mm-hmm.
like So I grew up from a very like quieted down
Moderate Christian home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like I only got to know about TB Joshua when I was like, I think even just like a year before coming to CBU, because I was at my grandma's
A
place.
year before coming to see
Like literally, and
That's
that was
pretty
like
late.
I know, right?
2016.
That's
Like you didn't join the bandwagon.
Like I didn't know about him at all, completely oblivious to the whole TB Joshua person, until grandma was like, you need to watch it with me, and it's
Yeah.
like the whole day it's just score one Imano TV, amen, like touch the screen, and I'm just like, okay, let me
The
see
grandma
this
would touch the
person
screen.
Who didn't touch the
who
screen?
didn't touch the screen.
You did.
Like-
Did you ever
My
touch
mother
the
would
screen?
call me from my room. Apparently.
To come and touch the screen.
There's a tweak at the screen.
Wow.
You've seen, like, she would
Okay.
kneel by the TV and she would touch the screen, and I would say I believed it for her. Does that make sense? Like, I
Okay.
didn't believe him because I was like, people are vomiting things, and I'm just like, oh my
Yeah.
God. So I believed it for her because she believed in him, and I just didn't want it to be fake for her.
Mhm.
Does that make
Okay,
sense?
that makes sense. That
Like,
makes sense. That
because
makes
I
sense.
loved her so much, and it's just
Yeah.
like, I don't want my grandma to have a heart attack to
Yeah,
find
so
that.
like I hope this is real for
Exactly.
her sake,
And that's the reason why even this whole scandal BBC thing, I'm just like, I hope she doesn't know about it, because like she'll be so heartbroken, because her entire life
Mm-hmm.
was surrounded by TB Joshua. Like she couldn't do anything without watching, listening, praying with him on the screen. If she's sick of anything, she'll get the water and say, no, I got it from TB Joshua. And she was very religious about it. I remember there was a time I was sick, and then she even packed for me, like, in like a small bottle. I'm sorry, I threw that out. Like, I won't lie.
Wow.
I threw it out
Yeah.
because I'm just like, I don't believe in it like that, like the way you do. But thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate, like, I get your prayers. I mean, so
Put
for
it in
your
my
sake, for your sake, I believe. But I'm like skeptical.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that was kind of how you.
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
got to know. I got to know him like.
But like then,
recently.
did you hear anything? Of course, there were rumors like, "Oh, you're secretly evil." Did you hear any of those?
I was
like,
not, that's the thing. Like, I was not interested in TB.
yeah.
I was not interested. Like, if I'm not at my grandma's place, I'm not even thinking about him.
Okay.
I'm not even listening to him or like watching or reading.
Okay.
Like, it's for as long as I'm not in my grandma's house, it's got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
I'm out of it. If I'm not watching it with her, I'm not watching it alone. You know, so it's like I was very skeptical. I won't say I was not I do believe in prophets. Like, I do believe in prophets. I just take prophecy as something that comes when it needs to come, not that I have to follow it to get it. If that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So like, you know, that's the reason why it's like I was just like a bit iffy about it because a lot of people are just like going like, heal me now. You know, I feel like it needs to come naturally to be like, God has spoken to me and I need to go to Witu and pray for him because he needs healing. Not that you're coming to me to ask me to heal you. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
that's like for me, that's where I was a bit questionable about. I was even asking grandma like, are you really sure? But she was like, no.
Yeah.
We just know Zambian.
Yeah,
But I mean-
I think that's a pretty similar for people in our age group.
Yeah.
I think where we're generally a little bit skeptical. Of course, there are those who are just like, yeah, Tip Joshua, my guy. But I, bit skeptical and like, oh well, I am a Christian, I do believe, but I've got my doubts, and my
Yeah, like
reservations.
questions.
But it's like it doesn't seem like he's doing any harm. It never seemed like he was doing any harm to people.
No.
You know?
Then, back then.
Back then, it never really seemed. Did you?
You guys are making it seem like back then, but now it seems like it's doing harm to people.
No. I mean,
No.
like at that time, there was not much that came out that would say TB
Like-
Joshua is like an extortionist and he's a predator and whatever. That information wasn't really out there. Of course, if you go looking, you'd find it. But generally, people just had a fairly positive
View of
if
him.
anything, very neutral
Yeah.
about TB Joshua and
Yeah.
whatnot. For
Like
me,
the people that were against him, I feel like were very reserved to say anything because the passion that people were for him had
It
was
was-
so
it
intense.
was extreme.
So there were a lot of people like me were scared to say anything because then you'd be looked at as the devil.
Yeah,
Or you'd be looked at
yeah.
as someone who is like against everything Christianity wise. But it's like I like what he's doing. I like the works that he's doing, helping people in different countries and doing all that. Like that's good. I'm not faulting that. It's just I just don't like the fact that people held him to such
a
a level like he can't
they put him on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Like he cannot do
anything wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and that for me that is where I was coming in, and I'm like, maybe we should like relax.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Let's go.
and-
Let's go.
But why did you assume that people thought that he can't do anything wrong?
Um,
Like, no one came and told you that. Your grandma definitely didn't say he can't do anything wrong.
No, it's because of how they like if you dared to say anything wrong or bad about him. No, you're like they would come, okay, for me, grandma would come like I'm antichrist. Like she then I found that people that were very enthusiastic about him never created a spate of criticism. But just like if you criticize, you're against God. If you criticize, you're against God's doing. And it's like, I like the guy. I like what he's doing. I'm just like not about worshiping him and praising him. Like let's talk about God and Jesus, yes, but not like
But TB Joshua seemed like
like
an idol. He seemed like people
Practically.
idolize
Practically.
TB Joshua. I'll agree with that. People did-
Allegedly.
allegedly.
I'll say it. I'll put it out there. People idolized TB Joshua. People The same way, you know, in the Bible, if I could just touch the hem of your garment,
Yes.
I thought like people are just like,
Had
I
that
need to go
perception.
see. If I just see him in the same room as him, I'll be good. I'll be
Yes.
great. You know.
That's the reason
So-
why a lot of sick people are going there.
Yeah. So now, in light of this and all this information has come out now, right? Whether you believe it or not, it's out there. And
It is.
Yeah, it's out there. So
I-
like I just want to hear your first impressions. I want to hear you guys your first impressions when you just heard that thing was coming out. Before you even watched, what were your first impressions? Like, what did you think? How did you feel about like, oh, what is in here?
So for me, it wasn't the first time that I'd heard anything negative about TB Joshua or
Sure.
his ministry.
Sure.
I'd say from 2014 to 2016, 17, somewhere there, I watched a lot of his broadcasts. And throughout the years, I did see people accuse him of doing certain things. I mean, we didn't really go down that rabbit hole to prove whether it was even right or wrong. I mean, I would watch it and I wouldn't really care whether they were right or wrong. I wasn't there for those reasons. So it wasn't the first time. I knew about the book that was written against him
Yeah,
or about him. I knew about it. I didn't get to reading the book or downloading it or buying it, but I knew about it.
Even
know.
the video they made.
Yeah. So it wasn't the first time. So when I heard about this, actually, I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw the attractions. And it was funny because, you know, it's like you just mind your own business going
Yeah.
about your day. And then you just see this movie like picturesque,
Cinematic.
cinematic
Yeah,
cult
yeah.
leader,
Is this
something.
Is this
And, then,
Netflix?
and you know, it was really interesting. It was really eye catchy. I won't lie.
Mm,
I was like, who is this? And, you know, I really wanted to know who it was. And then I went into the comment section and I could see people at the top there saying it's obviously a Nigerian preacher. Like, obviously. All the Nigerians, they were like, this is 100% our guy. It has to be our guy.
Can't
you know?
be anyone else.
So I mean, I can't say I explicitly thought it would be TB Joshua. I mean, he's dead. No one really thinks about him nowadays. So I think they released the next attraction, which actually was like the Cult of TB Joshua, coming on the 8th of January at 02 a.m. I really wasn't interested in watching it because I mean I've already heard and seen like a couple of these things, so it didn't really faze me. It was just like, nah. I mean, I felt like, why are you releasing it now that he's dead? Irrespective of what I think or thought about him as a human being, as an individual, I didn't see the point of them releasing it after he had died. So I automatically thought and planned that I wouldn't even watch them. You know, that was the first day. Like, nah, I won't watch it.
Okay. Then let's see. First impressions.
First impressions,
You hear
he
this
told
thing
me
is
about it.
Okay.
He was like, "Wait, have you seen the thing for TB Joshua?" And I was like, "What?"
I wasn't that excited.
Tone it down.
Bruh.
Bruh, have you seen this TB Joshua thing?
He was like, "Have you seen it?" I'm like, "No, I haven't." So then I got to find it, and when I just saw it, I was like, "This looks like a Nigerian movie." It definitely gave old Nigerian back in the day, you know,
Vibes.
things that you'd find like on the streets on the CDs and everything. So I laughed. I was like, "Whoa, wait! First of all, why are they making something after he's dead? Like,
Yeah.
even if we find anything wrong or it proves that everything that he did was right, we can't arrest him. He's dead. What are you going to do? Like, and everyone around him will be claimed as witnesses only. So what happened? So what's the point of them releasing the investigative documentary?" But then another thing clicked in my head. There's something that Burna Boy said. He was like, "Nigerians only lie to you when they want to get something from you." And that's the first thing that clicked when I saw it and linked to him. And I laughed. I'm like, maybe.
But don't you think like
But I laughed about it.
It could be in the opposite also. Like, if they want to get something from you, which is like your attention, then they lie to you and give you this documentary.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm
True,
saying.
true,
That's exactly my point.
All right, so now we're going to get into the video now, into the nitty gritties and the hot takes and the.
Yes.
I can't believe you believe that.
Bring
Or
it
the-
on.
Or the. How could you not believe that? How could you not believe that? So now let's talk about episode 1, right?
Yes.
So it starts and then this little buzz cut white lady talking about, which I feel was a weird perspective, but cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Africa, and they could have so many, but they're like, yeah. So they picked this. This white lady starts talking about, how she got into the.
She was
into
gay.
school, and she was gay. How she's like,
Yeah.
I'm gay. I don't want to be gay.
Gay, so I'm going to TB Joshua to heal me from my
Heal
gayness.
my gayness.
But yet she was the same one who was calling to say good night. Wants
yeah. So the video starts. The video starts, and she's essentially talking about how she
You wanted her
ended
to
up.
call his wife?
But like, you're gay. You like women. Why are you calling a man to say good night and want to go up? Like,
She was. Oh, anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah. So she comes. The video starts. She comes in. She's talking about how her early upbringing and how she found herself.
yeah,
In TB
Church.
Joshua's church, and how she met him,
yeah.
and also had my friends. And
Yes,
whatnot.
the clique.
Yeah. So just in the first video, I'd like to hear some hot takes and what you think. Like,
Shamo, you can start.
yeah, what you think?
I hope I won't exhaust them.
So so this is what we're going to do.
Three.
So we're going to talk about. You're going to have a few things that you strongly believe, or things that you are like
Against.
that, and things that you're against as well. I know Angie's like, okay, this I don't know. It seems kind of sketch.
Okay.
And I want you to do like these things. People should really look into them. So
Okay. That's just with regards to the first video.
yeah.
I'd say I strongly believe family plays a major role in everybody's lives. So for me, especially with the introduction of the documentary, it opened up talking about family. She came from
England.
the UK. Yeah, she came from a Christian family, well grounded. She
Wealthy.
was
Yes.
comfortable.
She said she was privileged.
When you hear people in the UK like, but we lived in rural.
Yeah,
For them, that's like,
like-
yeah, we got money.
And she said she was quite privileged. She actually said that in the episode, that she was quite
You're
privileged.
quite privileged.
I mean, for you to travel from England to Africa.
Well,
That
it is
is a
Africa.
chartered accountant,
so
you know.
First of all, there's no visa costs. Like, it's
Okay, continue.
so so family plays a major role for me. She claimed to have come from a very Christian, well-grounded
Yes,
family.
yes, yes.
I had questions from the first episode because structured around family for me is how come her family didn't quite, visit or check up on her. There was no mention in the documentary of that. That's the first.
That's true.
The second was I did like the part that there was that video footage of TB Joshua cleaning
Clean the
church.
toilets,
The
yeah.
That was a latrine.
There's a latrine, and it's like he's the only one. He's like,
Yeah.
they were like, and he was the one who would clean the toilets and everything.
I know, and
Yeah.
I mean, watching it from a non-biased view,
Yeah.
irrespective of what you think
Pretty
of
good
him
guy.
or whatever. Yeah, I was
Pretty good
amazed
guy.
because honestly, very few preachers, pastors, religious people could put themselves in such
yeah.
shoes
Yeah.
in today's time.
Yeah, I
Even
look-
very few members of churches or any religious organization actually would put themselves in a position to clean a toilet. So for him, as the head of that church, doing that, it was amazing. For me.
It was an interesting feat, yeah, for sure. You start there, and I think that's where people started to know him from. And just like he's so humble, he's so, he's so motivating. He's a nice guy.
How could you hate?
How could you hate him, man? How could you hate him? Humble beginnings kind of guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I let Leanne say a few more before I exhaust.
Yeah, Leandro, come on, let's hear you. Let's hear. You look like you're like,
She's
nah.
itching to
She's
just
itching,
hop
she's
in there.
itching,
You
she's
know,
itching.
she's like,
Tell us.
I think I would say the exact, not really the exact thing, same thing as you said, but it's like the family and friends part. These were 17, 14-year-old girls
Yeah.
traveling from one continent,
One continent.
to another.
wait, what do you mean 17, 14?
14-year-olds, like
How? They were not 14-year-olds.
there were some that, like, when that woman who the recruiter, the pimp, she was busy saying
Yeah, I caught her. She's just
Kinda.
she said that they were having a range of children, like young girls, between the ranges of 14, 16, 17, like practically teens, let's just say.
But the two that came
Then
from
the-
the UK
yes,
were 16 and 17.
17. Yeah. So I'm just saying it as a general aspect to say, how would you, as a mother, allow your child to go to church? First of all, what were you doing at 17 years old? What were you doing at 17 years old? What were you doing at 17 years old?
I
Or
was
14?
completing my high school.
Exactly.
Boarding school.
I was in high
Are
school.
you really
Yeah.
thinking about going to travel to America to go find Christ?
That's the means, bro. that's the means to go to town. Sometimes would leave me dumbfounded. I was like, man.
It's very for me. That's what I was looking. I'm like, okay, so these people, they allow their kids to go, and then the gay girl actually went with a friend. She
Yeah.
just didn't go
Let's
alone.
not be.
I don't know her
Let's
name.
not call her that.
Okay, the gay character in that video. In
You've changed nothing. You've changed nothing in this statement.
because she might be they, them. I don't know. So
goodness, wow.
the character who was lesbian
Okay.
in the video.
Okay, let's say lesbian. Let's say lesbian. But
Yes.
it's the same
It's
thing.
the same
It's the same
thing.
It's
Like,
fine.
she might be
let's-
bi, we don't know.
We just can't remember her name, but like that's something we remember
Yes.
about her. It's not that anyway.
Yes.
So
The
gay,
white
lesbian,
woman from England, the lesbian gay, I don't know.
and her red friend.
Yes.
Redhead
the,
friend.
the red friend went alone. She went with another, like a friend.
The red woman.
No, she went with a friend who actually left her. Remember, you've forgotten in in episode
Oh, yeah, no,
one.
was it her or it was the other one? I can't
No,
remember.
it was the gay girl.
Okay.
yeah.
she
so, yeah,
went with
uh-huh.
a friend.
Yes, she went with a friend. She traveled from England to the church with a friend. And then when it was time to go after the Kama Crusade passed, when it was time to go, the friend entered the bus. And whilst they were both trying to enter the bus, allegedly, TB Joshua had instructed that the gay girl should remain and said, you should stay. They removed her bags. Her friend, went to back home. So now my question there is where it's like, wouldn't you ask us to, like, why am I requested to remain? My, like,
Wait, was it
As a
there
friend, I
mention
don't
in the
think I would-
documentary of her saying she wanted to stay, and then when they asked her to, it was like
no, that was the redhead. That was the ginger girl.
Oh, okay.
You're like swapping you're mixing the gay girl is the girl with the cut, right? Yes. Yes. That's the girl I'm talking about. She's the one who went with a friend. The ginger girl went alone. She went there for the crusade purely to find her. Yes. But the initial part where I'm very iffy about is all these people that were interviewed in the BBC episode 1 thing all went with the intention, like in their mind, they already had put TB Joshua
Yeah.
as Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Because the gay girl wanted to go get healed.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
gayness should be removed.
Yeah.
Just by interacting with him. And already by virtue of wanting to stay with him, like, where are you putting that person?
You're putting them pretty high up.
Pretty high
Pretty
up.
high
Like,
up.
what is it going to do for you?
But this isn't new. This isn't new where someone, follows a pastor or their papa
Exactly.
because of that, and they're just like, hey, I feel like your presence, I feel like what you say, because they're charismatic, and you've seen what they do.
Yeah.
You've seen how people feel about them, how they
Can I say something?
Yeah. I feel
say
like that
say
was
something. Say something,
I think
Mapolo.
that's the biggest flaw in modern Christianity.
Yes. And for me,
Yeah.
that's
Religion, actually.
For me, that's where I
irrespective of
saw the
religion.
downfall of all of them. That was a loophole for anyone, even if it wasn't TB Joshua, to manipulate them, because they already fixed in their minds to say, me, if I go to the synagogue church, I'm going to get healed. You get what I mean?
I'd actually say that they manipulated themselves.
Yeah, like they went with the intention of being there and staying there and wanting to glorify him
In hopes that
they would heal
Yeah.
and
Yes,
save them.
yes,
You
yes,
get?
yes,
So it's
yes.
like they already went with the narrative in their head. So that was the beginning of the downfall for all of them, the whole group. Whether it's the South African woman,
Yeah.
the left-hand man, all of them, the Tuma, those boys that were sleeping in the toilet, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
They
That was
were
that
all-
the first episode as well?
Yes, it was like I'm introducing all the
Okay.
people on the panel that were that spoke to BBC. All of them were generally having a downfall mindset. Like already you're going with an intention of someone to save you from whatever troubles you're going through. That's I can automatically manipulate you to do anything.
But at this point, I think it's important to point out that it's not all religious individuals that carry that kind of mentality. by the way. It's a general misconception that everybody that affiliates themselves to a religion has this brainwashed view on life and
I mean,
the
we're all
world.
Christians here, I believe.
Oh,
So we're
yes.
definitely-
Are you?
But look at this like
Are you
this.
are you a Christian?
I'm being more agnostic.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But look at things this way, right? When a church anywhere, could be the States here in Africa, reaches that point where it's essentially a conglomerate and it's the church has revenue,
Yeah.
has millions, hundreds, maybe
Billions.
even millions of dollars of revenue. People now start to ask questions, right? Because ideally most religion is based in humility
Yeah.
and servitude and all of that, right? But when you reach a point where it's like, this man says jump.
How high?
How high? How high? How long should I stay in the air if I can?
But with
So yeah.
don't you think it's a good thing that the church actually has quite a good revenue? It kind of, and I'm saying this because in my home country, Zambia.
Yeah.
I was about to say, the home country, Congo.
Congo.
Zambia. there's this thing that we usually believe that churches that are well to do, that have good revenue for themselves, they have businesses running and going for themselves. We kind of look at them in some sort of light. But I feel it actually takes away from the members always supporting the church with alms.
Okay.
You put pressure on members if all you do is ask for alms every Sunday, whenever you meet. Like, do something for yourselves. What if that day I don't have... The economy is rough on everybody. Like, you can't expect members to build the church, feed the needy, pay the pastors, everything, run the build. Like, come on.
I agree with you.
You know.
I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. Yes, it's great. It shows some responsibility. The Catholic Church tends to buy land, erect structures, put that up for rent, and take the money here and there
Yeah,
to help
which is
people
nice.
and whatnot, right? But the problem is that this isn't money that is audited. You don't know how this money is being used. So look at what the church stands for, right? What the church stands for, and you put a few individuals out there let's say like these huge churches in Zambia. I won't mention names, but churches that make hundreds of thousands every single Sunday, tithes and all this money, right? So don't you think that if the church is misappropriating these funds, why isn't there someone who's going there check, like, how are you actually using this money? Are there a select few people in this church who benefit greatly from this, and is the whole church okay with that?
Well, my church, we actually have like meetings, financial meetings, and we discuss. I'm not going to mention the church, and we, yeah, and we do discuss these things, So I feel I think it's a good thing actually. So I'm of the view that if you asked to say, I'd like to see the financial documents, or I'd like to see the balance sheet, I'd like to see the spreadsheet of how finances were used, as a member of the church, I have that liberty to ask actually. So there's a group of elders that run they're responsible for collecting the offerings and the tithes, and they count them, and they're responsible for that, and they will produce all those financial details and stuff, and I can ask as a member of the church. So maybe I don't know about other churches, maybe they can't.
This discussion is about other churches.
But
Have
we tried to actually ask, or are we making the assumption that we can't ask?
I think, okay, Mapalo, go.
As a person who grew up in the Pentecostal church, that's a different case. You grew up in the Baptist church. The Baptist church.
No, I didn't actually.
You did?
No, I grew up in a Pentecostal church.
Can you tell the differences?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so the thing with the Baptist church is they're very open when it
Transparent.
transparent when it comes to financial-
Everything.
Basically everything,
Yeah.
especially financial situations. They're very transparent. Pentecostal churches aren't like that. Most of them are very.
Where your pastor is even driving a Hilux.
Most of them are very. Give you signs, and we will bless you.
Sow
for
a
your
seed.
tithe. Sow a seed.
Yes.
Bring your seeds.
Bring your seed, and this is how we'll bless you. If you're holding on to your seed, you will not be blessed. So automatically, if you are, because basically a lot of Africans are brainwashed, automatically you're going to think, oh my goodness, I'm stagnant in my life because I'm not sowing a seed. And you start giving your last coins, your last money.
You know, there was a church
To the
that
church.
there was a church that I attended to. Sorry to cut you short. There was a church that I attended to, where the pastor was an accountant. He was working for a bank. Yeah, and the wife was a librarian,
Okay.
and they had things, you know, which for me made sense because I know where you're getting your income from. You know, like it's not shocking if, as an accountant, you're working for a bank and you're driving a Ford, but you're a pastor. You
So-
get what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
It's like I know where you work.
Yeah.
But
I know
is
I
it
work,
fair?
But
No,
now I'm not
to
saying
say-
that like the
not to
pastors
say
can't,
the pastor should be
because I know where
living
you're
in a
going.
toilet.
No, but I'm saying be open with your like. Okay, for me, I would love if most of the, especially okay, let me just say from the experience that I've had with a lot of Pentecostal churches, Zambian Pentecostal churches, is that pastors don't do anything. They rely solely on the church, and they are never vocal about businesses that they do outside the church, which I feel would calm a lot of these talks to say, "Nanga pastor," but like automatically a lot of people, especially uneducated people, don't understand how things work. But you know, if other countries and other churches have pastors who are working and like outside the church they're working, you're more trusting in how the finances are handled, if that makes sense. Like I'll look
yeah.
at you and be like, oh, if you're capable of handling your money, you know, and doing your thing, I can trust you with the church's money. But for most of them, it's they solely rely. So if the church doesn't give them money, what do they do?
I don't have a problem with pastors having a salary.
That's okay.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
But that's okay. But the problem, like she's saying, the problem is like your sole income coming from the church,
Yes.
and then your members are also suffering.
Yes.
Like the main reason for most tithes should be, okay, let's build the church. Let's build the church, not just like the church itself, but the people in the church, because the people are the church.
Yes.
So if your congregates are suffering, what's the point?
You know
Yes.
how I feel about
And I think that's where a lot of that's where you the TB Joshua, because TB Joshua will build the church and his people. So a lot of you do the givings and the
Yeah.
and the
Charity work.
the charity work.
The charity
There's a lot
work.
of charity work.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why he won a lot of people over.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what's my point.
Anyway, money and the church is something.
Yeah, but buzzing.
What?
It's buzzing.
The what?
Okay.
The cable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to.
Is it
You have to have your
I
hands
gotta
here.
handle it.
Yeah. Or like up in the air.
Yeah.
What did I do?
It's alright.
Sorry.
Wow.
Stop being sensual.
You know, like, is this alright? Is
Are you
this?
trying
Is
to be
this?
one of,
I'm being gentle.
Like super, like you're caressing it.
It's delicate. This is
guys, let's get back to the topic.
Anyway, like I was
Baby
saying,
Joshua.
like I was saying, okay, fine, right? Okay, money and the church is weird, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no other institution around in a country, in a government, where money just exchanges hands. And when that money becomes substantial, then one might want to ask questions to say, hey, are people not being taken advantage of? Are people not being persuaded or coerced to give this money? Of course, it's to their own volition, but solicitation in a lot of places is a crime. Hey, give me some money. Why do you want to get my money? The government will be like, you can't go and do. You can't go knock on people's doors and solicit money and whatnot, right? So now, my next question, right, regarding TB Joshua, right? So, whose fault is it? Who are we really going to blame, right? Whether you believe these things or not, right? Here's a man who's just doing what he's doing. He's doing what he's doing. He's speaking. He's not forcing you to come. He's not knocking at your door.
He didn't ask them to come.
He didn't ask them to come. He didn't ask them to come, right? He didn't ask them to come. Yeah, he may have done horrible things.
Or
I
may
say
not.
may. Allegedly, he may or may not have done horrible things. But if he did, right? If he did, it's a very interesting case to say, okay, but you believed him or he came. If he did it and he did those things, it was horrible. But there were millions of people. There are millions to this day. So now, who's really at fault?
He didn't ask them to come, but he asked them to stay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, right? So now,
Allegedly.
because now,
So
yeah.
I would say the responsibility also falls onto the people. Like Leandro said, they had this thing for, this is my God.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to believe him no matter what. I'm going to do whatever he says because.
And they did.
And they did because this is where my blessing is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an African mentality. Or not just
It's a religious mentality.
Religious mentality.
It's a religious mentality.
But then again, when you ask that why didn't they leave,
Why didn't they leave?
it's kind of hard to leave. Okay, if we look at
Victim blaming.
Well, they were never captive in the first place, so I don't even think walk out whenever you want to walk out. The door is open
I don't think they were physically captive, but they were mentally captive.
because they put themselves in the box.
They put themselves in the box.
I mean, like,
So,
sorry
like-
to
so, like- so,
interject,
like-
but like, I see you
Mm-hmm.
coming down. It's a dormitory,
Mm-hmm.
by the way. They're bunkers. They showed their bunkers. I see my friend coming down the stairs, running, crying.
Is that episode 1 or are we now in episode 2?
Like, I'm just answering the question. I'm just answering the question in line with what he's saying. Like, why are you choosing to stay and how did you find yourself there? There's so many things that were happening in there that if it didn't happen to me, I would automatically choose to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see my friend coming down from his room crying. I'm going to be like, girl, why are you crying?
Those are all questions that we all had when watching it. Like when they didn't cry, they laughed, they were happy. They
were singing Kumbaya.
I mean,
I can sympathize with them. It's the same
Can you?
thing. It's a,
How so?
It's a victim thing. So
it's a.
So you're telling me 100 of those disciples
1,000.
were victims,
allegedly.
allegedly,
Now look at this. Let's look at this in
or had victim, like not even the 99th person can be like, boy,
I can't
we can't
believe
do
it.
this.
Do you remember
You-
who
like-
remembers that Chris Rock special where he was like, if someone is stabbing
On
people at the
Netflix.
mall and apparently he stabbed 100 people, or it was 50 people in the mall, and it's just like the 99th guy was just like, others were getting stabbed and just waited.
And just
to get
waited for-
stabbed.
bruh.
And just like,
Wait,
This is over years and years of conditioning. Okay? Think about this. In an abusive marriage, how do abused women stay? They're
so
not
That's a
the
great point.
the foundation
That's a great
is
point.
laid.
The
and
foundation
then-
is laid.
Yeah.
The foundation
They,
is laid, then it's built on that.
you become dependent on this person.
And then there's
Could be
always
could be for your.
Can I say
day-to-day.
something?
There's
Like
a
in,
syndrome.
I want,
Stockholm.
Stockholm
It's
syndrome.
yes,
Stockholm
Yes.
syndrome,
and
that's
also
a
I
real
also
thing.
feel like like to say, like, to add on to that, I would say it also comes down to the confidence you were brought, like the house you were brought up in. Panto in me where I am, when I was like the way we grow
17?
up.
When you were 17, would you be that naive?
Exactly my point. Like, I feel like where you come from, if you're lacking someone who gives you confidence and makes you like pumps sense in you, you would definitely go with the wind. Like the people allegedly that went into that TB Joshua thing. You know what I mean? Like if you look, they all were lacking something from home. All of them. All their stories start with at home.
With
My
a need.
like
There
yes,
was
a
a need.
need.
They all had a
They
need.
lacked something, not money. Because clearly they traveled from continent to continent and country to country, so it wasn't money, but it was like something in them mentally that was lacking. You get that they needed to fill a void in.
Yeah.
If that makes
It's
sense.
a sense of belonging, a
Yes.
sense of purpose,
Exactly.
And reason,
and
actually.
as religious
Yeah.
people, you go to
Yeah.
you go
And it's the
back,
same
you go,
thing
you
as
go
you're
to your knees.
saying.
It's like, hey, I need to pray. Can this higher power I believe in
Exactly.
feel
And it's the same thing that
feel
you're
this
saying
whole-
about like the abusive situation is like a lot of women that are in abusive relationships, it comes down to the lack that they had when they were in their homes, that they now find a man who they believe is filling that void, and they don't want to let go of that feeling, you get, because they feel worthless without that feeling.
True.
So that's the reason why they continuously they keep on staying there. You remove them, they'll still go back. Is because they
They
didn't
derive
have
an identity.
yes through someone else.
Can we then blame the victim?
Yes, I do
Yes.
blame.
At this point, because
110%.
now, so
This point-
episode 1 is people coming into the church.
Yes.
People
On
coming
their
into
own
the
will.
church of their own will, of their own
Yes.
volition,
With the wrong
because they're like,
motives.
I
Yes.
believe this because look at this. How many of you guys how many people have you seen miracles? Who's seen a truly like
I've seen
they couldn't
miracles.
prove it. They couldn't prove that it was fake, but just like this person came just bleeding, sores, STIs,
Which they even
cancer,
reviewed themselves to say that those one.
and then
Allegedly.
allegedly, and then it comes up and it's like there are masses coming here because that masses, and you come and you're like, people are living here, they look fulfilled, they look happy, they seem healed. This guy wasn't walking, and anyway,
But
I
hold
feel
on.
like for me, that's why I even go back to say that
Carry on.
like the whole purpose or like thinking behind miracles and healing and prophecy is what already destroyed them. You get what I mean? Like I said, a prophecy will find you and it will be sent through anything and anyone. You get what I mean? Like you don't go looking for it. It will come to you. If God wants something to happen to you, even the goat is going to heal you. You get what I mean? Even a dog, you get healed.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
means necessary. If it's meant for you, it's going to come to you in that regard. You get
Okay.
what I mean? So like those people automatically saying, if I go into the synagogue church, I'm going to be healed. They already had the wrong motive to go there with that intention of saying, I'm going. It was if you're going to get healed, you're going to get healed seated at home sleeping.
Well,
That's your
yes
rationale.
and
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
because I feel there's a lot of examples we have in scripture,
Yeah.
and I think it's only right for us to also just blatantly state that you talked about their motives,
Yeah.
and kind of you alluded to the fact that religious people kind of have this thing, but in this case we're dealing with one specific religion, which is Christianity, which
Yes.
we all know came from Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And Jesus Christ did not say follow your preacher or your pastor or the miracles that they perform.
No.
He explicitly said to follow him and
Yes.
God.
I'm the truth, the way, and the light. He
So
did that.
if in their heads they thought, wow, this man does these things because of his belief in Jesus, if my belief in Jesus is grown or maybe taken to that level, I could also be healed from
Yes.
whatever, or
Yes,
I could
exactly my
I could
point.
fill this void, or I could do something. So first of all, their motives were completely out of line with what the religious
Yeah.
author, the
Yes.
author of the religion, stated as a motive for joining the religion. So that was
Yeah.
off. I thought we should just put.
So now,
that
okay,
down.
all right. So now I think we've talked about episode 1, people entering the
Yes.
church, their motives,
Yes.
their things, and you're like, hey, who's really,
yes.
who's really? Here's the person who is calling you to come. Not really even calling you, you know. He's just like, I'm doing my thing.
He's just
At
existing.
At that point, Tim Joshua he was a cool guy, great
He was
guy.
existing.
And people was like, this guy's doing amazing things, and I think I want to cure my homosexuality. You know? I want to cure this gayness.
Find
I want
enlightenment.
Someone to pray the gay away from me. And you go there and you find all these things. You're missing something, and you follow these things, and you stay there because you believe something will change, because you are motivated by your faith, by your beliefs, by your religion.
Misplaced faith,
Misplaced.
Allegedly.
and it's not
Allegedly.
alleged in this case.
Yeah, okay, sure. For those victims who truly say that they were abused, yeah, I guess their faith was misplaced.
Only